The problem with humanity, which is why the few have always controlled the many, I don't care what the culture is, I don't care what the historical era is, it's the same. The many give their power to the few in the form of acquiescence. And that is how the few have always controlled the many. If enough of the population say, we're not doing that, they have no power. There's not enough of them to impose it.
So this could be the most revealing, shocking David Icke interview the world has ever seen. So I'm Rob Moore, host of the Disruptive Entrepreneur Show. David Icke is probably one of the world's most renowned conspiracy theorists. He went down some very controversial rabbit holes, so some major revelations coming in this interview. But first, make sure you like this video, turn the notification bell on and subscribe to the channel. Why do you do what you do? Why are you so committed for much of your life's work to bring out this information? Which is linked to my question number 2 is, then what's the solution to all of this? Is it utopic and a dream fantasy to say we can have equality? If they've got the control, do we just bow to it, and how do we change it?
Well, do we just bow to it? Well, talking personally, that will be the bloody day. Why do I do it? Well, I started for various things happened to me in the period of 1989, 1990, and I set on a journey from an understanding that the forces that appeared to be controlling the world, like governments and prime ministers and presidents, actually weren't. The real power was in the shadows where you never saw it. So I went on this this journey of uncovering it, and to uncover not only that the power is in the unseen, but what that power is seeking to do in terms of where it wants to take humanity. Now, because you're dealing with psychopaths who have no empathy and no limits, where they want to take humanity is truly, truly horrific. And I saw this from the early 1990s. And if you're a father, if you're a grandfather, and no, if you're a human being that just cares about freedom and justice and fairness, and you look at little kids, and you see that what those kids, or the world, the society that those kids are going to live in virtually all their lives, if we don't head this off, which I could see. I mean, at the time, of course, people were laughing. It's all a load of rubbish, that Ike. But I knew it was true, and that's why I kept going despite all the ridicule and all the abuse, because I knew where it was going. And so I looked at these kids, and I looked at my own children, and I saw the world that was planned for them. And if you have a smear of decency, then what you do then is you give the rest of your life to trying to head it off and to alert people to it, so that they can put an end to it. Which brings me to the second question, which is, how do we bring an end to it? Well, people say, what's the solution? Well, I'm not interested in solutions. I'm interested in removing the cause of the problem, because that is the solution. You can constantly look for solutions to a problem. And what solutions normally do, see politics, is lead to more and more problems, which need more and more solutions, which lead to more problems. If you're going to break the cycle, then you have to remove the cause of the problem. And if you remove the cause of the problem must disappear because its cause is gone. And the problem, and you look right the way through human history, the problem with humanity, which is why the few have always controlled the many, I don't care what the culture is, I don't care what the historical era is, it's the same, is because the many give their power to the few in the form of acquiescence. And that is how the few have always controlled the many. And if we didn't do that, the few have no power over us. So if someone comes out of Downing Street or the White House and says, we've had a discussion, they do it all the time these days, and this is what's going to happen. If enough of the population say, we're not doing that, then they have no power. There's not enough of them to impose it.
In this world of increasing globalization and centralization of power, how does one remain or become independently wealthy and free?
Well, the idea is you don't. That's the point. The only way that you can do that is to stop cooperating with that wishes to stop you doing it. And that means independent businesses en masse refusing to cooperate with the next lockdown. See, what they've done, this is an interesting thing, what the British government have done, because they're a bunch of liars, bunch of psychopaths. And you look at the what's called the hair test, named after the man who devised it, the hair test of psychopathic traits. And you look at governments around the world and these health professionals that are running the response, and they fulfill every criteria of a psychopath. And so one of the traits of a psychopath is that you will lie as much as is necessary to get what you want. You have no compulsion about lying. The question is, do the lies get me what I want? Okay, well, that's not a problem then. So they announced, you remember, in September through this, see above, Naheem Zahawi, who was then vaccine minister. He is tragically education secretary now, that they were going to introduce vaccine passports at the end of September. And he announced it in the House of Commons, so it was official. And about 2 days later, the government went back on that. And they said, we're not. But we do have a plan B just in case. Now, of course, the bloody liars, the plan B is plan A. It's masks and it's a vaccine passports and all this stuff. But what they've done when they announced this, because of course you well know, what they do is they'll announce something, actually usually not openly like that. They'll usually announce it through the media, sources say, and they're watching the reaction, see if they could get away with it. And if they don't think they can get away with it, and they've done sources say leaks, then they say, oh, no, we were never going to do that. Or the classic line, there are no plans to do that at this time. So they'd made a decision after that Zahawi announcement. They didn't think they were going to get away with this without one hell of a fight at the end of September. So they went back on it. But what they did is said, we've got a plan B. They just put it on the government website what that plan B is. And it's vaccine passports. It's all of it. Vaccine passports are being globally centrally coordinated. That's why Israel has them and all these other people have them. All these other countries have them. But there's more pushback in Britain. It's more difficult for them here than in many countries. So they know this, that a lot of people are going to die through this winter and onwards. It's all a psychological operation. And so many people have fallen for it. And some of us haven't. And some of us are not going to cooperate under any circumstances. And you can't intimidate us into doing so.
So let me know in the comments, what did you like? What didn't you like? What do you agree with? What do you not agree with? I would love your thoughts in the comments right now. We have a full, deep interview, the uncut, unedited version. So if you want to watch that, the link is below. So make sure you like the video, turn on the notification bell, and subscribe to the Disruptive Entrepreneur channel. And remember this, if you don't risk anything, you risk everything.